Show of hands. Everyone who's watched After Earth, raise your hand. You're eligible for compensation because that movie was horrible. But he is a Nepo baby. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about nepotism and pretty privilege and how it is your birthright either to use it or use it and be criticized, or don't use it and be criticized. So our topic today is, of course, the Pretty Privilege series. We are on episode 6. I don't know how we got here, but we did it. Christmas tree is still up, but we're on episode 6, the Pretty Privilege series I've been working on. I said I'm going to be done by Valentine's Day, and I meant it. It's a 10-part episode. We were talking about topics about pretty privilege that are either previous examples, current examples, a couple of my experiences as well. So we're going to be talking today about nepotism. So nepotism, let's do a definition of nepotism, because people are like, why are you using that word? Nepotism, to me, my definition, operational definition, is basically when someone's born into a status. It is something that has been either by accident or by intention. You know the world of hypergamy, sprinkle. The world of hypergamy, where basically you want to marry somebody who has status so your kid doesn't have to work as hard as you do. And in a way, I think we're all doing that. Like, you guys know I'm Haitian, first generation. I'm talking about first generation, okay? Like Haitian, So my parents came here from Haiti, Port-au-Prince, Lagunave. Like, they came here to give us a better life, because if not, we were going to be born in Haiti, and like I said, the opportunities aren't there. Vice versa, certain people, they also make sure that their kids are set up correctly. That's why you'll have, like, I know Ring by Spring, like, they'll purposely make sure they attend like Ivy League schools so they can be in the atmosphere of, so they can be in the atmosphere of, so they can be in the atmosphere of where everybody else is at. Like, where's the money at? Like, you're not going to find, no offense, but you're not going to find a future senator at a community college. And I know some people that say that, oh my God, that's so mean. I'm just saying, like, the purpose of nepotism is so your kid doesn't have to work as hard, or so your kid can, the big scandal of when I don't even know. It's alleged, okay? They were allegedly paying certain universities money so their kid can attend the school. And if they just happen to make a donation the year that their kid graduated high school and they want their kid to go there, you might be able to overlook a certain couple of qualifications that it took to get there. But overall, that's the definition of nepotism. And of course, you guys already know what pretty privilege is. Everybody has their version of pretty privilege, but pretty privilege is, psychologically, when someone's features, characteristics that are deemed attractive by a whole population or majority, thinks that this person is attractive, so they follow suit. There's a halo effect as well that ties into it, where they feel like, okay, well, since this person's good, and since this person's good looking, they're a good look, which is most of the time it's not. Also, don't trust me, but it's just one of those things where it's just like they put that under there. They don't know anything about them, like it's literally like it's a prejudgment that is actually it's a prejudgment that's actually beneficial for them. Like, for example, like you see a last name like Quaid, Smith, Hasselhoff, Schwarzenegger. Like, you see these last names, and automatically as a advocate, like as an employer, just like, okay, this person's important because their parents have already succeeded in doing this. Like, their parents already succeeded in doing that. Because there's been plenty of times where, like, I'm sorry, but the amount of Nepo babies is out of this world. But I'm also kind of proud of the parents, because like I said, like, your rule, like, one day when I do have a kid, little Claire Haire, it's giving, yes. When I do have her, I'm working hard. I'm working very hard so she don't have to lift a finger, not a gel or dip gel finger. So, okay, and vice versa, I'm working for my future son as well, that he doesn't have to work hard for anything. And that's how you're supposed to do it. However, that brings us to our topic today. Should you use it? Or should you use it and get judged, or should you not use it and get judged? So, perfect example, pretty privilege is synonymous with that. Because think about it, like, certain people are just like, okay, well, if you're attractive, like you kind of owe people, like you owe people humility. That's pretty much same thing with nepotism. You owe people humility. Like I would say they're kind of similar to a birthright. Like you can't control what you look like. Like, I mean, you can get surgery and, you know, augmentations, of course, to like fix. I don't like it. I don't like it because I think everybody looks good, but then again, I can't be talking, can I? Okay. So it's just, I don't see why people don't understand. There's literally the same thing, because there's certain people. Let's talk about how nepotism is like pretty privilege first, and then we're gonna talk about how pretty privilege is like nepotism low-key. So nepotism being like pretty privilege, to me, think about it. People literally go out and breed with certain people so their kids can have certain features. It is tale as old as time, like plenty of times where men will sit there and say, okay, well, she got green eyes, or she got blue eyes, or she has good hair. Y'all know I hate that word. It's a trigger word for me. But like I've literally seen plenty of times where like there's like reaction videos and they have a kid as a reaction video and their girlfriend has green eyes or has blue eyes and the kid has like dark brown eyes. We're gonna do Punnett squares later on in the video, but the kid has brown eyes like him, and I've seen them get visceral. I've seen them get so, like, just so disappointed that their kid does not look like their preference, or their kid does not look like what, like, their kid doesn't look like what they expect. They want a junior version of that. And it's just frustrating to me because, like, these kids are so, like, I know I love kids. Like, these kids to me, like, they don't deserve this. Like, they're literally, someone, like, you don't understand. If you knew how many people practice, I wish there was a word for it. I know some people say eugenics, but I don't think that's the right word. But there's people who literally, like, once I find the word, y'all can put in the comments below. But there's literally people out there who literally breed so their kids can be good looking. And in a way, that's the same way with nepotism. Like, you don't know any times where it's just like, I've had friends, because, you know, I have friends of all different races. I've had friends who literally said, yeah, I was working at the golf club as a caddy girl, and I met my husband there. He makes 7 figures, not six. I know you guys can count, not 6, but he makes 7 figures. They're going to the country clubs. They're going to the auctions. They're going to the fundraisers. They're making sure they're in the right place, right time. Vice versa, they do the same thing with having kids. Like, you know how many times, like, you'll see, like, certain women that are, like, basically, like, dark-skinned women, no offense, but the dark-skinned women who they'll literally will sell their sock. I can't say the other word, but they will literally sell their sock just so they can have a baby with good hair, because their hair is not good. Like, you don't know how many times I've seen that. I've literally seen that where, like, or I've had a friend, they're just like, hey, yeah, you know, my dad ain't ish or da-da-da, but at least I got good hair. And I'm just like, dang, like, I'm so sorry you think that's all he left you, you know? And I also feel like they purposely will tolerate. I've also noticed that too. And like I said, don't cancel me, but I've also noticed that too, that the toleration for mess is higher when you're trying to breed a certain type of kid or have a kid with a certain characteristic. The tolerance is higher, because if it was somebody who was, you know, predominantly whatever race you don't want to be, you're going to hold this person accountable compared to the breed you want. That person, they can cheat on you a couple of times. They can mess with your friend. They can mess your job up. They can mess your car up, but they're genetics. Like, I promise you, if you knew, like, I remember when I found that out, I think I was 23 or 22, so about a decade ago. And I remember finding it out. I was like, wait, so y'all ain't having kids because y'all love children? Y'all having kids for, like, you're having kids so they can look a certain way? Like, to me, I feel like the best looking kid is healthy. That's the best looking kid I've ever seen. Like, I don't, like, that was so heartbreaking to me. I'm just like, you were literally you don't even care about the person, you don't care about the kid. You just care about making a kid with good hair. Making a kid with good hair, making a kid who looks good, making a kid that will breed well so they can continue the good looking genes. Like, I can't tell y'all, like, it's the same way with pretty privilege. So we're going to tie that into pretty privilege, so we tied in how nepotism is similar to pretty privilege to nepotism. So pretty privilege to nepotism. So what that means is basically, pretty privilege to nepotism, I would say, like, basically it's like kind of low key like a birthright, because it's just like, You need to know the amount of privilege you get for simply looking good. Anything you say, I mean, even at a subatomic level, you know, when someone who's attractive, you instantly get hit with a dose of serotonin. That's why you'll sit there and someone will be good looking and they're telling you bad news and you're just like, oh, it's not too bad, you know, and like they're good looking, so it sounds less compared to someone who's not attractive, tells you bad news, like it's not going to hit as much. But no, I can definitely say like, it's kind of like a birthright, and it's kind of like you're supposed to use your pretty privilege. You're supposed to be using it to get ahead. You're supposed to be using it for either man or woman, their pleasure. Like you're supposed to be attractive for people. And, you know, with pretty privilege also being societal, I wouldn't say comfort, but societal almost. I want to make sure I have it on here. I don't know. Like, I feel like pretty privilege is like societal currency. And if you don't have it, the way you're treated is nothing short of inhumane. Like I've just never seen it before. And a lot of people look at me and be like, you don't know what I mean? I was like, but I do. I wasn't one of those people who's been attracted out their whole life, Holly Berry. So to see it from both sides, you know, as a late bloomer, to see it from both sides is like, I have so much animosity towards society in general for treating people like that. But I can definitely say like, it's definitely a difference, you know, of nepotism versus pretty privilege. But I can definitely say it's kind of like a birthright. Like you're good looking, you're supposed to be using it. You're supposed to be using it. But I can say just overall, like what they both have in common is, I don't know, like I would say the humility level. Like if you're a Nepo, like I've seen plenty of times where, you know, a Nepo baby was just like, hey, I gave up this role so a regular person can have the role. And they're just like, boo, boo, you're trying to be A, B, and C, you're trying to whatever. And then vice versa, when someone who's good looking and they're just like, oh, well, you know, I'll try to dumb down my looks. Boo! Like you're just know you're gonna get booed. And of course, you know, they're not like longevity wise, like I said, like pretty privilege has a timestamp, has an ETA. Nepotism doesn't. Like you can be the son of, I don't know, like you can be the son of Rihanna, you know, and always have that level of you're gonna get put to the front of the line forever. You're Rihanna's son, you know, and vice versa, like with having like Dennis Quaid, his son gets put to the front, you know, Denzel Washington, his son gets put to the front. And I respect it. You don't sit there and work hard and come, you know, do all this hard work for your kids to struggle. Struggle is not something that I want to see in kids ever. But your specific kids, absolutely not. You do not create your kids to struggle. Some of y'all need to hear that. But I do feel like it is frustrating, you know, for you to have that level of privilege, because it's just like you can't even be humble because they're not gonna believe you. They're not gonna believe you. Like there's a level that they're not going to believe you. There's a level that they're not going to really like be able to see from your perspective. Because I feel like, you know, just countless, like if I sat there and read the countless stories about pretty privilege, we could be here for the rest of the year. But definitely for sure nepotism, like I kind of can see from their perspective, like my parents put me in this position, you know, like they made sure that I was on point. They made sure that I get to the front of the line, whether I have talent or not. Did I say that? Okay. Whether I have talent or not, like they make sure you put, I don't have none. Like I'm first generation. Like I'm part of the first footstep from my family's lineage on this country. There's no secret uncle or auntie who can put me on. Like I'm the putter on her. The next generation's gonna basically succeed or not succeed based on what I do or don't do, you know? So I feel like with pretty privilege, like it can only go so far because one, if you're not also playing up your looks, like when you're a Nepo baby, it don't matter what you do. Okay. It doesn't matter what you do. You're going to get put to the front of the line. It doesn't matter. Compared to like having pretty privilege, like if you don't put the makeup on, if you don't wear certain attributes, if you don't keep yourself up, your face card can only take you so far. But definitely let me know if you guys have any disagreements or if you want me to talk more about the nepotism experience from my perspective or what I can empathize with them. Don't forget to subscribe, share. It's Claire here.